I did say that if you wanted to see more Selection Project, you would have to show me that you wanted to see more. And, well, recently, you guys have done incredible. The initial video I made covering this anime has done exceptional in just the last couple of weeks so far. It has been a blessing to see that you guys have really enjoyed these. So, I'm going to say it again, if you want to see more Selection Project, then definitely consider dropping a like, a comment. I have really enjoyed your comments too, by the way. And perhaps consider hitting that big red button that says subscribe on it in a bunch of white letters. You should definitely make that button go gray. And now just a couple of quick normal intro reminders. Remember the 250 sub goal by the end of the year this year, and the 1000 by Anime Expo next summer for the in-person event cosplay. The second channel will arrive soon for Pokemon related content coming up here shortly. And last but not least, the 200 sub goal Patreon. All reward information will be available on the same day that the page goes live. Alright, let's get on with what has become a very, very unique anime. Selection Project has made its case. This anime has managed to evolve itself into something entirely different and totally unique, easily beating out many recent idol anime, and after episodes 5 and 6 now, it gives Love Live a run for its money. Idol anime don't usually receive much appeal and praise, although Love Live was able to pull it off. Remember, Love Live is the entryway for a lot of idol anime fans and is still continuing to produce new seasons. Don't forget the mobile game. What makes Selection Project different from these other idol anime is the fact that there is a very specific appeal to a very specific audience, teenage girls. Someone's going to say, well, duh, all idol anime target that audience, and I would say, you're right, but Love Live draws on a variety of different audiences because it doesn't focus so much on its audience than it does maintaining its top status. Selection Project incorporates the live audience element on a nearly 24/7 basis. Everyone can receive more yells at nearly any time. It's all based around what you do. Yeah, things like awkward camera angles and the moe attitude all certainly help to boost scores, but there isn't so much a focus on fan service with this, and instead simulates real-life, real-world experiences. There is the big focus on maintaining a proper figure, eating right, and exercising to maintain that figure as well, but it's not a major visual focus, which is where episode 6 makes a striking change. More on that later. The vast majority of anime that have some kind of performance-based aspect to them usually only focus on the practice side of things, not individual character experiences. Think about anime like Bang Dream and Lappy's Relights. Both have visually appealing performances, but neither focused specifically on one character in their justifications. Tiara may be a little bit Lappy's Relights, but certainly not Bang Dream. Love Live's first season actually tried to run with this, but it didn't get far. The closest we got to something that was as much a tribulation to them as Suzune's heart is to her was when Honoka fell ill during the middle latter half of the first season of Love Live, and even then, it wasn't anything serious and didn't alter future relationships. That being said now, I want to shift the focus towards Suzune's relationship with all the girls before I move into some more thematic elements. So, it's already been 6 weeks since we began episode 1 and learned that Suzune was ever even in the hospital to begin with. It wasn't until episode 2 we learned that she even had a weak heart, which raised some doubts about her ability to perform on the scale she needed to. Now, in episode 6, we see just how troubled Suzune is about her heart and the scar she has on her chest from surgery. The way she avoided an explanation other than shows too much skin indicated that there was something more going on, but I'm surprised no one else picked up on it. Reina, being the closest one to Suzune right now, noticed her absence from the main tent after filming on the beach and, well, she pretty much guessed where she would be. The whole swimsuit ordeal wasn't just about an over-revealing swimsuit, and more to do with the fact that Suzune was insecure about showing herself off with the scar on her chest. Her heart has been a major point of contention for her, and only having this 1 month of summer to live out her dream isn't much time. It should be noted that the summer holiday from school in Japan is significantly shorter than that of the US by about 2 months. The US gets normally 3 months, Japan only gets about 1. So there's no doubt that Suzune feels time constrained and restricted due to the little time she has. Obviously, she didn't want to hurt anyone with her secret, and I really wondered when she would come out about her heart. It was generally just assumed she was as fit as everyone else was. However, trying to force a secret of any caliber out of someone when they aren't ready to tell it isn't a good look. Suzune is free to perform in the way she sees fit, but while still following the rules, of course. When it comes to providing a beach episode fan service kind of experience to the fans, it's reasonable it was out of Suzune's comfort range. The contention this created between everyone wasn't fair though, and was incredibly one-sided, which I figured it would be when there are 8 other girls all competing for the same thing. If Suzune had a leg up on the competition, they wanted to know what it was and how it was she had it. Therefore, calling her out to a midnight summit to try and casually force something so personal out of her was not only petty, it was horribly misguided. Yes, at some point, she did need to come out and explain the situation, but that wasn't the time nor the place. Reina's support was Suzu's only foundation, but again, the other girls picked up on the attitude shift and called her out too. Suzu came out and said it after Reina asked for the broadcast to be cut, but the way she bolted out of the room clearly indicates a very troubled relationship with her secret. This level of complexity is a very common theme throughout Selection Project, and these personal experiences are creating a clear-cut path that stands out from the rest of the idol anime competition. This has created a strong focus on the supporting elements of the final round and their relationship to each other. This is that striking change I was talking about earlier. The shift towards the actual character dynamics and the level of appeal, what society deems appealing and attractive. I don't have to go into much detail for most people to understand that this anime is geared entirely from a female point of view. Society deems me this or that. I have to do this because society says I should, and so on. Another clear marker that Selection Project isn't your average idol anime. There are absolutely some darker and very personal elements to this anime. Now I want to shift to the more thematic elements of episodes 5 and 6. Primarily episode 5. Episode 5 wasn't so much focused on performances than it was on the music and getting it right. However, at the same time, it was Shiori who hung the other 2 up in Gap's caps until the final day of round 1. To a degree, I can understand why Shiori had so much of an issue with the other 2, but it was the fact that she was never satisfied and lashed out at her other group members, even her senior, that caused an issue. Mako, who was the team leader, suggested they just drop out since Shiori and Koizumi couldn't simply get along. She didn't mean it, but this is clearly where there's a difference of ideals. Shiori, coming from an esteemed family, sought to perfect the group's performance. But that was an unrealistic goal, and her mindset was just as unrealistic. Even Suzu and Reina were able to overcome their differences, but that's because they found something in each other that they could both relate to on a personal level. So, to call it quits because something just isn't going right isn't a great solution, but it made Shiori and Koizumi take a second look at themselves and at the world around them. Their performance did great, and they did receive enough yells even though their performance was on the very last day. Doing your best and achieving your dreams is simply the best way to achieve a dream, but when all that's being done is fighting and self-gratification, nobody gets anywhere and ultimately leads to poor results. Mako finding a shrine to pray at and her lecture to Shiori and Koizumi made the 2 realize they have more time and potential in some ways than she does. They all need to work together if anyone is going to have a shot at being the next top idol. There will be things that they need to work on if they're to improve their relationship with each other in the near future, as can be seen by their fighting at the end of episode 5. No one was going to make their dreams come true if they didn't find a way to make it work for everyone, and in a way that encompassed everyone's feelings on the matter. Koizumi realized it wasn't going to be easy to become number 1, and it really became a moment of self-growth for her. The reality she had in her head wasn't what she had come to see via reality itself, but a lot of this also came from Shiori's lack of support for the rest of her team, that inability to care equally about Mako and Koizumi and not just herself. As teenagers and young adults, we often go through some of the most troubling times of our lives during this period, as well as moments of growth and self-discovery. This has been another clearly evident theme all throughout Selection Project so far, and once again, really helps make this anime stand out from the crowd. There will be more to come, I'm almost positive, and that's what I look forward to seeing the most. What we don't ever get to see is how we affect other people via our actions and the things we say when we're growing up. There is no mirror that shows us how we've been acting in the way that affects others around us. That is what Selection Project has been able to single-handedly achieve so far. In what are undoubtedly the most chaotic times of our lives, Selection Project has given us a window into what we were like, and now we're seeing that firsthand. Selection Project is not an anime to take at face value. If I've learned anything from these last 6 weeks now, that much is for sure.